not doing it live.
Oh, we're just recording.
Yeah.
So we can awkwardly flex and stuff. And
Totally. Well, I mean, you can. It's not video.
And if we could edit it out, though, if I don't look good.
Yeah, that's just what I need is more time editing.
Yeah, exactly.
My wife would appreciate that.
It's work. It's not like you have a family and stuff.
Yeah. All right. So what are we doing here?
It is Monday, so it is time for our weekly WOD wind-up.
I feel like we already did this.
Well, we did. We should do our weekly WOD wind-up the week before.
Yeah, we'll have to get a little further ahead, I guess. So this is for this week.
This week, it's a delayed weekly WOD wind-up.
Yeah.
We've made it through day one before you all in Radio Land. Is it Radio Land? Podcast Land.
Yep.
Have listened to this. So today we had back squats at 70%.
Yep.
I emphasized that since max outs are coming, that we need to stay right at 70% today and work on perfect form and mechanics of the movement.
Good.
Everyone looked beautiful
Awesome.
across the morning.
Yeah, 70% should feel reasonably great.
Felt really good. No bouncing out of the bottom. Nice, slow, pulling yourself down, pulling yourself back up.
Cool.
Yep.
All right, so we've got more of that for the whole week, right? For all of our strength.
Okay.
We're doing something similar, push press at 75%, cleaning at 75%, a fair number of reps to kind of help grease the groove and clean some stuff up. So, next week we start testing some stuff.
Great.
This week we've got MAP 4 work.
Okay.
That's 2 minutes of work, 1 minute of rest. We started it with today's 10 push-ups, 40 ab mats, 10 push-ups. Took about right around that 2 minute mark.
Most people reported that, maybe they were a little under 2 minutes to start, but by the end of X set that they were moving on towards that 2 minutes, 30 seconds.
Sure, when they got about like 300 ab mats into it.
Probably.
Slow down. All right. Yeah, so that was a good workout. Easy, should be very easy for everybody to stay at their math on that one. Tomorrow's 2 minute AMRAP, 14 wall balls, 7 calorie row. Brian tested this for me a couple weeks ago. He was getting around plus about 7 more wall balls, and we all know Brian's a pretty powerful guy, so I would expect this to be very close to about a round worth of work.
Okay.
14 wall balls. I'm hoping we'll just start to reach you towards the top of your math.
That plus 10 of your 180 minus your age, or right there at that 180 minus your age?
I'm hoping that right at that 180 minus your age, so then when you get on the rower, you can just maintain that effort all the way throughout, and use the first couple sets to set that pace, play a little bit. It ends up being a lot of wall balls, so be patient on your transitions a little bit, and focus on the first set of rowing to not go crazy, right? I'd rather see you a little under your score at the end of your first row or two than struggling.
So unlike other workouts, or personalizing this one, to quote Claire in her personalization instead of scaling, are we not necessarily using this row to recover now? Are we trying to maintain, get those wall balls going, and then be as powerful as possible in that row versus bringing the heart rate back down?
Correct. If you're someone that's going to get around plus, then you might need to be trying to pull your heart rate down just a little bit on that so you don't spike it really bad on your wall balls. But if you're somebody that's going to get exactly around, I'd love to see you just flatline this thing right at your math.
Awesome.
We had mentioned last time when we did this weekly WOD wind up about scaling wall balls. Like if you finish your 14 wall balls and you are 10 to 12 beats above your math, consider either throwing to a lower target or a lighter ball.
Easy enough.
Okay.
There's some thrusters coming up.
Yeah, Wednesday we're doing 2 minute AMRAP, 7 thrusters, 7 cal on the bike, 7 chest to bar pull-ups, 7 cals on the fan bike. This is just about 1 round per 2 minutes.
Okay.
Pick a weight that you can easily control on those thrusters, that you can breathe the entire time. You're not holding your breath. You should be able to finish that 7th thruster right at your math, get your heart rate back down probably 5 or 6 beats below your MAF on the fan bike, and then your chest to bar pull-ups are going to spike it probably like 5 or 6 beats above it.
So we had thrusters this weekend, and the feedback I got from that particular workout, it was similar, is that thrusters tend to really get heart rates up high. And I talked to a couple athletes about, well, just because they were light as prescribed, maybe your body isn't ready to do that weight of thruster aerobically.
Right.
And
Yeah,
less weight is
last week I
bet.
had, it was only a minute on, right? So we had a little heavier, we had the same weight on thruster.
Right.
Keep in mind, when I prescribe these things, like it's 95 pounds for Wednesday, I am considering, my best athletes. 95, 65, I'm considering my strongest. I shouldn't say best. I'm considering my strongest.
Or most aerobic if this is
Sure.
a heart rate based
Correct.
workout.
Correct. And some of those athletes could go heavier. And that's okay.
Right.
I know when I did this, I had to use 75 pounds. And it was really smooth, and it was, a fair bit of work here that you're doing. But I didn't have a bunch of breakdown. Positions were really nice. Depth was good. Elbows nice and high. So
Wednesday's going to be a day then to really don't skip it because it looks not fun or scary. Wednesday's going to be probably the most challenging day, not in the movements, but to make sure you're training in that heart rate zone.
Yeah.
With these movements that are typically not overly
correct. And
friendly.
if 7 chest to bar pull-ups are not happening for you, do 7 regular pull-ups. If that's not happening, it's jumping chest to bar. So you
Okay.
can kind of keep that stimulus and that heart rate. If you're standing there looking at the bar, your heart rate's coming way, way down.
Yeah,
And-
let's just jump and get it over with.
Yeah, let's get it over with. It's good. And then Friday, we're going to do a little FAF test as our warm-up. Last week we did that, and it went great.
Yeah.
Lots of people are noticing differences. I wouldn't expect to see big changes again for people.
Not in a week.
Yeah, no. But I'm, the more you do it, the better you get at it. So I just want to keep testing, and I like it as a warm-up. It gets you moving.
You know what I want to look at with that warm-up is last week we had a bunch of MAP 2, minute on, minute off. So this week we have a lot of 2 minutes on, 1 minute off. By the time we get to Friday, we're probably pretty fatigued. Now, our strength being skill-based strength at 70 to 75%, we could be in a really good place, but let's use that FAF test on Friday then to kind of look at recovery.
Sure.
If your FAF test score, you're having a harder time keeping your heart rate down, even if you don't realize it. Last week you did it in 8 minutes, and this week you're at 10. I mean, take that information into your weekend and realize, like, hey, maybe I need to sleep in a little bit, or make sure that I, drink extra water and
Avoid beer and
recover.
wine and extra ice cream, right? That's the one main reason that I like these FAF tests is, like I have in here as a note, it's a biomarker for health, right? So it kind of gives you a sense of just how you're doing in inflammatory wise, and
at the end of a busy week.
Yeah, in any time, no matter when I put it in there, whether it's a Monday or a Wednesday, right? Some people work out all weekend long, and their Tuesday, Thursday, or Tuesday, Wednesday are their weekends. So
yeah, fair.
Just depends. I have a MAP 4 that on Friday where we go calorie row, 30 or 25, and then power cleans for reps. This is something that after we get done here, I'm going to test. So if this workout changed slightly, it means it didn't go well.
Stay tuned.
Right. But the idea here is to not go crazy on these power cleans. I want you to set a pace that kind of just slowly raises your heart rate, so you can hopefully finish this 2 minutes at 5 or 6 beats above your MAF.
Let's talk about personalizing the calories on the row then.
Yeah. So I prescribed it as 30 and 25. That's generally a minute and a half of work. So I want you to try to use that. If you need to knock it down to 20 and 18 or 25 and 20, do so. You work for about no more than a minute and a half.
Okay.
Okay. And then Saturday we're retesting. I think I had this as a MAP 2 work a few weeks ago where we had 12 rounds of this, but there was a minute rest after each after 3 sets of this. So we're just going to do 12 rounds for time. 7 toes to bars, 35 double unders, 14 calorie row.
Okay.
We did this June 8th. I'd love for people to look back so they can get a sense of what their pace looked like. This is going to be a workout that hopefully, if they're pacing well, is going to start out reasonably under control. Maybe they'll hit their 80% of their max heart rate, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes in, and then it'll just kind of sit there and then slowly rise as you get into this thing. So
on Saturday, is it marked as a MAP workout?
it is not. It is marked as a workout for time.
Great.
So
we've been talking a lot about that in class when we explain the board, that if you see MAP, it has that word aerobic in it, that means we're going to be working at our FAF heart rate. And so that's a cheater way that, say you're tying your shoe and not paying attention to when the coach is laying out the workout, that if you see those letters, then that's a heart rate training day.
Yeah. This would still be kind of considered a heart rate training day.
Because you're heart rate testing almost.
Yeah, a little bit. You want to look and just, see what you can do here. Keep moving the entire time. It's got a 14 calorie row in this. That's plenty of time to get your heart rate back down each time. Maybe by the end of this, you start getting in around 8, 9, 10, and your aerobic row pace is not so aerobic anymore.
Right.
That's okay. It's okay to get after it a little bit. Just don't go like a maniac round 2 and 3.
So the idea here is not to go all full CrossFit from the start and scream out of the gate, but to use everything we've been training, all of that aerobic training we've been doing, and then pace yourself accordingly over a workout very similar to what we have tried.
Yes. 100%.
Let's step back to Thursday that you didn't mention that has running and double unders.
Oh, yeah.
So that's another one that we're training towards an end goal.
Right. Yeah, so this is more prep kind of for the triple threes. So we've got running and double unders for reps. 200 meter run should take you, some will get that done in a minute. Some will be a minute 40. That's okay. That's just where you are. And then coming in double under for reps. This isn't one necessarily that I want you to, let's say it takes you a minute 20 to run. You got 40 seconds. Try to take a big deep breath before you start your double unders. And then, go for big sets. If your heart rate gets 15, 20 beats above your MAF on this one, not the end of the world. But play with it a little bit. Maybe, I know for myself, if I break every 20 and take a 5 or 6 second rest, I can stay right around, 8 to 10 beats above my MAF. So, learn a little bit. If you start breaking down after 10 or 15, reset, go again.
Right, because we're aiming to eventually do 300 double
Correct.
unders. And wouldn't it be awesome if those 300 double unders were under control enough?
Sure.
Then when you hit that 3-mile run, you felt so good that you could evenly pace that out.
Yeah, that's the goal,
right.
The idea. So, yeah.
Did we touch on Sunday? Is that part of this week?
Yeah, it is because it's still MAP 4. So, it's 3 rounds, 20 lunge steps, 10 push press at a light weight. This is definitely one that, you should be able to keep moving. So it's 3 rounds, rest a minute. 2 sets of that.
Okay.
Okay. And then after 3 sets, you do the 3 rounds with no rest. So this is a fair number of lightweight push press. This will be a good opportunity to work on your range of motion. A little bit of muscle fatigue is going to occur.
Mm-hmm. So the first 2 rounds of that would be heart rate priority.
First 2 sets.
First 2 sets are heart rate priority, and then you stick with that pace and see what your heart does.
Yeah, for that 3rd set.
So if you pace that correctly, you are able to maintain through that. What should that final set look like in terms of your heart rate?
Yeah, just a slow, steady climb. Like your first round should finish at, right around your MAF. Second round might finish, 4 or 5 beats above it. Third round might be 10, 15 beats above it, depending on how fatigued you get, how good you are overhead. From
getting that
pace
set.
And then talk about next week's EP. We've got more strict work coming up. Got a little bit of deadlifting in there and things, but focused probably for at least a couple more weeks on just strict gymnastics work. With all of the strength we're doing in class, I don't feel like I need to be building strength right now in the EP.
Mm-hmm.
I will start throwing more skill wads in a little bit, but as of right now, I just want to see people focused on their strict strength in their positions.
Especially since we're getting into where we're going to start testing our strength in the next
Yes.
couple weeks.
Yep. What do you got planned for GOAT?
GOAT, we have some single leg work, both on the bike and the runner. Sounds really fun. It's really hard. Much like how pistols look really cool. Those are single leg as well. So this is an important way to find imbalances between the two sides of your body and then figure out how to work with those.
Fun. Okay. Sounds like that's Tuesday. Wednesday, you've got a 45-minute running and farmer's carry.
Yep. So
Madman.
Just running and grip work. It's going to be fun. We're going to hold on to. There are some complaints that ab mats were becoming kind of tedious, so we're spicing them up with holding some weight to get that fatigue in the core a little bit more.
Oh, they're so good at ab mats.
They're just so good.
Awesome.
They need more.
All right.
One day in there, I think it's Friday, we're going to ride one of the stages of the Tour de France.
Oh, from 2018.
Yeah.
Cool. Are you doing anything else with that? Or
we have in there, it's optional that every 8 minutes we're going to stop and work some reverse hyper reps and some GHD sit-ups. So again, that's just to kind of balance out and exhaust the core while you're riding the bike. This particular portion of ride is relatively even. A little bit of hills, but it's not an intense uphill or downhill, so it'll be easy to maintain that fast heart rate even when we're fatiguing out their core.
Cool.
Yeah.
Then you got a partner workout planned as well, running and...
We got the fat bars on Saturday.
Awesome.
Yep, so partner one's going to do some stuff, and partner two is going to work through the fat bars. A lot of what I planned this week has some something aerobic paired with some sort of strength. And then if you finish the strength, then you have built-in rest. And in GOAT, we're not used to having rest. And it's really important to train, especially when we're working on that muscular endurance, to relax all the way down, so to speak, to rest the muscles.
Yeah, get ready
Put
again.
in that aerobic effort again, do that strength, and then repeat that over the course of an hour, not
Awesome.
just in the small spurts.
Cool. All right. Have any other words of wisdom?
Claire, do it right, people.
Perfect. All right. See you next time.